Dateables, if you're looking for a new episode of the Dateable podcast, guess what? You're in the right place. Welcome to another episode of the Dateable podcast.
I was scared for a minute.
In case you're looking for that other show about data, that's Dateable. This is Dateable. I don't know. There's no difference.
There isn't another show, but we'll be Dateable too.
When we do our spin-off show on dating science, dating data, we can call it the Dateable Data Show. Okay.
That won't be confusing at all. No.
For any of our new listeners, are you confused? If you are, we did a really good job. Welcome to our show. We're back again with another awesome episode for you. We are recording this ahead of time because me, Yue, I'm currently on vacation. If you're hearing this right now, hopefully I'm off the grid and not checking my emails and my phone as much, but we're recording this into the future.
Yes, and if you missed last week's episode, which you should check out, by the way, if you did miss it, Yue did share that her partner for their 4-year anniversary is planning a secret vacation that she does not know where she's going, and I'm dying to know, so I can't wait till you can report back to all of us. Do you have any ideas? Do you have any predictions of where you're going?
Okay, the funny thing is by the time this airs, I hope I know where I'm going because I would be halfway through my vacation. But he did send me this image board, and it had a lot of beachy vibes, looked very European, a lot of seafood, water, cruise. No, not cruise, but boats. So I'm thinking somewhere like south of France. I don't know. That's where I'm thinking, or even Italy.
Do you need your passport? Has he told
I do
you
need
that
my
much?
passport. It is an international trip. It's not New Jersey. I did confirm that.
Jersey Shore he's taking you to? He's just using your passport to throw you off?
He keeps joking with people. Whoever asks, he's like, we're going to Jersey. No offense to anybody who lives in Jersey, but definitely not the dream vacation I was hoping for.
That isn't on your Pinterest board, Yue?
Maybe for a 5-year, I want to work up to Jersey, but
save
before
the good
then.
stuff. Well, very exciting, and I cannot wait to live vicariously through you and stalk your Instagram.
Oh yeah, I'll be sending you all the photos. I'm already sending you all the photos as we are talking into the future. This episode, though, let's be present. And coming back to the present episode, we spoke to a friend of mine that I've been friends with since New York, and her name is Sonica. And we've been through each other's lives through all the good and the bad and the ugly of dating. And now that we're both in the same city in LA, she's been, catching me up on her dating life. And we had this moment of why is dating so bad? Why is there so much bad dating behavior? And I think she cracked the code on why that is.
Yeah. As soon as you told me this, I'm like, we need to have her on. And it's really interesting, too. I was at a friend's daughter's birthday. So a lot of my friends have kids. They are totally out of the dating scene. But a few of them, they obviously know I do this podcast. And some of the folks I haven't seen in a while, they were asking just out of curiosity. One of them was a mutual friend of ours, Yue, that used to work in a dating app. And she was saying, She was curious. You know who it is. She was curious of what were people's sentiments towards modern dating today. And my initial reaction was, it's gotten worse. I feel like people are not as hopeful, and it's really sad and disheartening. And I think you and I share the same mission of how do we start to save modern dating and not continue to go down this path where everyone is just kind of basking in the misery. And, I think this episode is really great because you could hear the frustration in Sonica's voice of this, that this concept of what we're calling the lowest common denominator, basically that if everyone else behaves a shitty way, that makes you do the same thing, even if that's not what you want to do. So if everyone else ghosts, that means that you're going to ghost because it becomes the culture of dating. Yes. And I think that's a really bad path to go down. And we're hoping by raising awareness of this. And I think she was able to put it into a term that a lot of people are feeling. It's like, why would I, not, or it's like, why would I rearrange my schedule if I think this person's just going to flake on me? I'm just going to cancel at the last minute because I got busy. That just sets up a perpetual bad environment that none of us want, including the people that are doing it.
No shit. I mean, not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear microphones. And here we are trying to save modern dating because we truly believe we're in some sort of crisis here. If you go on social media, because we like to use hashtags, to get more views. And if you do hashtag dating sucks, it's like billions and billions of hits. But if you say better dating, and we use the hashtag better dating or how to date better, it gets like thousands of hits. That's just the difference right there, because people actually want to create more content about bad dating. How many times have you met someone else, they want to talk about dating, and the first thing they do is talk about how terrible it is, and they want to tell you about a story because they experience really bad dating behavior and they think it's entertaining at this point, right? It's so bad. And then we just feed into each other's negativity.
Yeah, I mean, that was even one of the catalysts of starting this podcast in the first place. It's funny that we've kind of come full circle with making it more of a defined mission. But I remember there was this article that surfaced way back in the day of like why dating in San Francisco is the worst. I've come to realize that every city has that article.
It's everywhere.
Basically.
Everywhere.
But why would that be? Like it is clickbait, and people want to, there is this misery loves company feeling. And I think it's good because we don't feel like we're alone. We can't just bask in the misery. And, hopefully by the end of this episode, we've come to some ideas of how to move out of it. And we're hoping too that it can trigger ideas. The first step is awareness with everything. And then the next step is action.
So this is the challenge for us, right? When we got Sonika on this show, when we were doing our interview, it was very easy to talk about what is wrong, but then it was a very collaborative effort to figure out how do we end this, or at least how do I take more accountability for my actions so that I don't succumb to the lowest common denominator. So we hope you can join us in this journey. It's not about us telling you how to get out. It's like, we got to be in this together, and we got to do this as a movement. It can't just be an individual action.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, though, it needs to start with yourself. Like, yes, it needs to be collective because, it's going to get taxing and wearing if you're the only one that's doing good dating behavior and everyone else isn't. Absolutely. Yeah. But I love this quote that, to see change in the world, you need to change yourself. You need to be the first person to change. And like we recognize in this episode, Sonika is the first to admit that she does the same thing she complains about. And why is she doing this in dating when she doesn't behave this way in normal life? So we do need to take that accountability. And I really do believe, as someone, that met someone on a dating app, there's a lot of people that aren't looking for the same thing as you. There's a lot of people that don't have the same level of self-awareness or emotional intelligence or all the other buzzwords out there. But it's your job to realize that they're not even worth your time fixating on. Like, just move on to find the people that are on the same level as you. And I think in a way it might feel daunting that, I'm like, I know so much, or I have this standard and maybe no one can meet the standard. But personally, I believe it's better to go on less dates with people that are on the same wavelength as you than continue to succumb to the lowest denominator and be with people that aren't.
Yeah, because when you expose yourself to that, then you think that's all that's out there. But there are plenty of people who don't want to be that, who are trying to get out of that. And you can be part of the movement of getting out of that. When you succumb to the bad dating behavior, that's when you're part of the problem. And this is a question we ask everyone whenever they want to tell us a bad dating story. They go, I went on a date with this person and they did this. And then the question we ask back is, have you done that before? Have you been guilty of it before? And more often than not, they're like, yeah, actually, I do that. I do that pretty often. So look to yourself first. So easy to complain about other people, but you can control what they do. You can only control what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't you wish you were on dating apps right now, Yue?
I a funny story is that I am on dating apps. Well, not as me, as a fake profile, because
Oh, God.
I was just helping a guy friend with some stuff, and I just want to see what was
Oh,
out
my
there.
God.
And so I've been swiping for him. I've been doing some messaging for him. So I am him. I'm he. And yeah, it's so fun, Julie, to be on the other side because now I'm matching with girls, right? And I'm seeing
Yeah.
it's the same shit, y'all. Like we say, men always say this or women always say this. It's the exact same shit. Everybody does this exact same the openers. Everybody makes the same fucking jokes. Everyone ghosts in the same way. They fade out in the same way. It's like so dumb. We gotta stop complaining about each other because we're doing the exact same shit to each other.
Did I tell you that one night I was out with one of our mutual friends, and we may have had a few drinks, and she agreed to let me install Hinge on my phone as her. And because I told her that part of her problem is she chooses the wrong people.
Yeah.
So I was going through on Hinge that night. Clearly didn't get too far because we were out. The next day, though, she messaged me and she's like, why am I getting all these messages from these random guys that I'm not interested in? I was like, oh, you don't remember that you let me take over your Hinge?
Whoa.
And she's like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, okay, well, the novelty has also worn off for me, so I'm good giving it back to you.
Damn.
I was like, this was a lot more fun when I had a few drinks under my belt. Now this is just difficult again.
Damn.
But I do think I could have
that
helped
would be
her.
so
I
fun.
do think I could have
think
helped
so
her.
too. I think so too. Sometimes your friends know you better than yourself, and sometimes your friends are more open-minded than you. The last guy I dated was because my friends were drunk in Napa and they were swiping for me, and they matched with this guy, and I ended up seeing this guy for a while, and he was great. So there's sometimes it's just letting go and putting in the hands of the universe, and by the universe I mean your friends, your drunk friends,
and the last guy that you dated too, outside of that, your last serious relationship, it was because you opened your age filters for a dating experiment we did.
Oh, yes. Good memory. Oh my God, yes. And he barely made the cutoff.
But this arbitrary cutoff anyways, right?
It's a stupid arbitrary cutoff.
It's so
just
stupid.
So
You're it's like 39 or 40. Like, what's the difference? All this stuff. It's so ridiculous.
It's so weird. The things we think we know we want, the things we think we have control over, end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. We're just swiping based on criteria that really doesn't make sense for life.
Yeah, we got to contribute to an article with Bored Panda, actually, that we put in our Instagram and on Facebook too. If you missed it, you can go search for it. But it was actually really interesting because it was secrets of people that worked at dating apps. And then we also got included, which is what we know. And, I think a big piece of it, we've said this before, it's that dating apps, the way they are designed, make us focus on things that don't matter. The age filter, the height filter, all this stuff, because that's the data they have. They don't know if this person's kind. They don't know if this person's trustworthy. They don't know even if they're funny or are charismatic or can hold a real conversation. We don't know any of that. So the more we can, stop pretending like the profile's going to tell us and really just focusing on the convo we have. And that is how you get around the lowest common denominator. Obviously, you need to be at the level that you expect yourself, but then you judge from the interaction. If someone's, not responding in a timely manner or seems to never want to go on a date or text or anything that's like basic consistency that's required for a relationship, then and you can move on, find someone that's operating at a higher level.
If you look at the basic principles of the pickup community, and I don't like talking about the pickup community in this sense, but in the technical sense, they have this thing called mirroring, where if someone mirrors your moves, it means that they are interested in you. But we can take that principle and apply it to dating behavior. If you do the behavior that you want, then if someone mirrors that behavior, it means they like you, they respect you, and they're doing the things that you want. So instead of you trying to like mirror other people's bad dating behavior, you be the good example and then have other people mirror you back. And if they don't, you know they're not the right person.
Right. We're giving dating apps just way too much power. We're giving them way
everything.
Too much power. Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, like, we're the ones in control here. We don't need to look at it like I'm just going to do what everyone else does, or the dating apps are set up this way, so I'm going to do it that way. What do you want? What's important to you? And what standards are you going to have for how you operate in a relationship? We talked about on last week's episode, like how each relationship builds when the relationship we have with ourselves builds to who we want to ultimately become and the qualities we need in a partnership. Knowing that and keeping yourself accountable to that solves a lot of these problems easily.
It sure does. It sure does. You only have control over yourself. Don't give that control over to the dating apps or to the people that you haven't met yet. You control your own actions. It's like, I feel like we're just a broken record at this point. We keep saying the same things. But come on, y'all. We got to shake you. Like, I want this message to get through to you, because if we all subscribe to this belief, then modern dating would be a whole lot better.
Yes. And I think, too, you know, teaser alert, we do have an episode in the near future, the head of communications at OkCupid. And, you know, as someone that found love on a dating app and that also knows the ins and outs, we've said this before too, but no one at a dating app is out to get any of us.
No.
They're really trying to make it easier to let you meet all these people that are on the same boat and at least being single. From there, it's up to humans and for us to do it. So I think the saving modern dating comes down to our own behaviors and the behaviors of others. And that's really where this whole lowest common denominator comes in. Yes. And before we get into it, you know where there's 2,000 plus other people that are looking to save modern dating? In our Facebook group. So if you're not in there yet, go to Love in the Time of Corona. This is my biggest mystery in life, is why all the people on there are so freaking incredible, yet feel like there's no one else good on dating apps, yet they're all on dating apps. So clearly we're just not finding each other, because we know that there's good quality people that are on the apps. So it's a myth that we're not. So that's my little soapbox there. But also at Dateable Podcast on Instagram, you can connect with us, send us your brunch talk questions through DM or hello@dateablepodcast.com.